When you get a message from someone who once walked away, it feels like a wave crashing inside you. Your heart pounds. Your mind floods with memories. Memories of when they left without a word, without an explanation. Maybe they thought you'd always be there, waiting, keeping the door open for their return. But this is the moment to be strong. That message. It's not just a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" It's a test, a chance for you to decide how to face the past, a moment to prove that you are no longer someone they can forget and return to at their convenience. Don't let old wounds or impulsive emotions dictate your response. You are not the person they left behind. You've grown, you've changed, and now you're in control. Together, we'll explore how to respond wisely, with self-respect and composure, because what you do next, whether through silence or action, will set the tone. This isn't just about their message. It's about you, about your strength, about reclaiming your power. So before you reply, pause, breathe, think. This isn't a game. It's not about revenge. It's about standing firm in your worth, showing them without a doubt that you are not someone they can discard and pick up again when it suits them. In this video, I'll show you how to respond, not just with words, but with confidence, with grace, in a way that makes them rethink their actions. So if you're ready to handle this with strength and clarity, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Station. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. And before you go, drop a 1 in the comments if this video helps, or a 2 if you think there's room for improvement. Your feedback matters. By the end of this video, you'll know how to keep your inner peace while making it clear. They no longer have control over you. Let this be your statement. I control this conversation, not them. The first truth you need to understand: when they text you after all this time, don't mistake it for love. Don't mistake it for regret. They didn't suddenly wake up, overwhelmed with the realization of your worth. No, they reached out because for the first time, they are feeling the absence of your energy. They aren't texting because they miss you. They're texting because they miss how it felt to be wanted by you. You see, when you were constantly there, reaching out, checking in, making sure they were okay, they took it for granted. They assumed your presence was permanent, like the sun rising in the morning. They never considered what life would be like without your warmth, without your attention feeding their ego. But then you stopped. You stopped chasing. You stopped waiting. You stopped giving. And that's when the silence started to get to them. And now they're wondering, do people miss me? Or do they just miss my attention? Can I continue without them? Have they found someone else? But do not be fooled. This isn't love. This isn't regret. This is about control. Why they're really reaching out. When someone leaves, especially after you've invested your time, energy, and emotions, they expect you to break. They expect you to cling to them, to fight for their attention, to prove that you still care. And when you don't, when you refuse to engage, when you choose silence over pleading, it confuses them, it shakes them, it threatens their sense of power, because they were convinced that they had you, locked in, waiting, hoping. They believed they could return whenever they pleased, slip back into your life without consequence. But now, the power dynamic has shifted, and that scares them. Understand this. At this moment, they don't miss you. They miss the control they once had over you. That's why they're reaching out. They're checking to see if the door is still open, if the power still belongs to them, if you are still waiting, still longing, still willing to accept their crumbs. And the moment you respond, too quickly, too emotionally, too eagerly, you validate their belief that they still hold influence over you. But you're not that person anymore. Regain your control. As the great Stoic philosopher Epicurus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you choose silence over chasing, when you choose self-respect over desperation, that is when you truly become free, and that is when they begin to feel what you once felt. The emptiness, the uncertainty, the creeping anxiety of not knowing. They were used to being in control, to setting the terms of your relationship, but now they are facing a version of you they never expected. A version of you that refuses to play by their rules. A version of you that values yourself too much to beg for anyone's attention. That is a harsh reality for them to confront. Most people don't reach out from a place of love or genuine remorse. More often than not, they reach out from ego and curiosity. They want to know, do I still have a hold on them? Are they still thinking about me? Have they moved on? And if you respond emotionally, if you let them see how much they affected you, if you let them believe that their absence still wounds you, they'll feel satisfied. They'll feel validated. They'll feel like they still own a piece of you. Let your silence speak for you. Think about this. When someone ignores you, they are sending a message that you weren't important enough for them to stay. But when you stay silent, you send an even louder message that you are too important to chase someone who didn't value you. And that, right there, is the most powerful response you could ever give. Because silence is a mirror. It forces them to sit with their own thoughts, their own actions, their own choices. Your silence reflects back to them the same indifference they once showed you. And that is what unsettles them. That is what makes them come back, not because they truly miss you, but because your silence forces them to doubt themselves. So when that message pops up on your screen, pause, read it, breathe. But do not react, because this is the moment where you reclaim your power. Stay silent a little longer. If you want to keep the power in your hands, wait. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Let them sit with the silence they once made you feel. Let them wonder. They thought they had you forever. Let them question if they were wrong. As the Stoics say, the best revenge is to be nothing like the one who caused you pain. And in this case, the best revenge is to show them that you have moved on, that you are no longer the person they thought they could manipulate, that you are stronger, that you are wiser, that you are free. Your silence is not weakness. Your silence is your power, and now is the time to use it. 2. The truth behind messages from your ex. When nostalgia speaks. There it is. A notification. A name you haven't seen in a while. Maybe it's a simple, "Hey," or a slightly more thoughtful, "Hope you're doing well." Maybe they go a step further. "I've been thinking about you." And just like that, your mind starts spinning. A flood of emotions rushes in, nostalgia, curiosity, maybe even a flicker of hope. Do they miss you? Have they changed? Could this be a sign that they want to make things right? Before you get swept away by a wave of sentimentality, take a step back. Breathe. Not every message is what it seems. It's easy to assume that when an ex reaches out, it's because they care, that their words hold meaning, that there's sincerity hidden between the lines. But let's be honest, if they genuinely missed you, if they truly regretted losing you, their message wouldn't be so vague, so non-committal. They wouldn't just drop a casual "just checking in" after weeks, months, or even years of silence. No, a person who truly wants to make amends comes with humility, with clarity, with accountability. They wouldn't send breadcrumbs and expect you to chase them. So why do they reach out? The answer is simple: curiosity and ego. They're not texting from a place of deep emotional revelation. They're not suddenly overcome with regret. More often than not, they're testing the waters. Do you still care? Will you still respond? Am I still on your mind? They're looking for reassurance, for validation, for proof that they can still walk in and out of your life whenever they please. It's not about love, it's about control. These messages, as innocent as they may seem, are not about reconnecting in a meaningful way. They are subtle power plays, ways to check if you're still emotionally available, if they still have access to your heart, your energy, and your attention. Recognize the trap. If you respond with warmth, they'll feel reassured. They'll know they still hold a piece of you. They won't offer closure. They won't express genuine remorse. They'll simply take what they need, whether it's comfort, attention, or a temporary ego boost, and disappear again, leaving you to pick up the emotional wreckage. But if you don't react, if you don't give them what they want, that's when the power dynamic shifts. Suddenly, they're left wondering why you're no longer available to feed their ego. And that, in itself, is a powerful statement. Take back your power. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. And this couldn't be more relevant when an ex suddenly reappears in your inbox. It's easy to get caught up in emotions, to feel an impulse to reply immediately. But true strength isn't found in whether you respond. It's found in your ability to choose. Ask yourself, do I really want to re-engage? Does this person deserve access to my peace? This moment is an opportunity to reclaim your control, to decide consciously whether they still have a place in your life. Flip the script. Think about it. When someone messages you with a half-hearted, "Hey," they're not putting in effort. They're not taking a risk. They're throwing a line out to see if you'll bite. If you do, if you respond enthusiastically, they'll feel reassured. You're still there. They still have influence over you. But if you respond neutrally or not at all, they'll begin to question themselves. Why aren't you reacting? Why aren't you engaging? Have you moved on? And that's when the tables turn. The power of detachment. The more you value things outside your control, the less control you have. If you allow their message to dictate your emotions, to make you question your worth, then you're giving them power they don't deserve. But when you recognize the truth, that their message is about them, not you, you take your power back. Their words lose their grip. Their presence loses its influence, and you regain something far more valuable, your peace of mind. So, next time your ex resurfaces with a casual check-in, remember, it's not about love, it's not about closure, it's not about you, it's about them, their ego, their curiosity, their desire to see if you're still an option. The best response? Stay calm, stay detached. Don't give them the satisfaction of an emotional reaction. Let them wonder. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Because sometimes silence is the loudest answer of all. Your strength lies in your choice. Will you let them pull you back into the cycle, or will you stand firm in your power, prioritizing your peace over their need for control? The bravest thing you can do. Live for yourself. Move forward. Be happy on your own terms. Because your silence is your power. Your calmness is your strength. And now is the time to use them. 3. A subtle power move. The psychology behind emotional games. Now is the time to flip the script. If you're thinking about responding immediately, don't. I know it's tempting. I know you've been waiting for this message for a long time. But hear me out. Your silence is why they messaged you in the first place. And that same silence will now be what drives them crazy. Wait at least 24 hours before even considering a reply. Not because you're playing games, not because you want to hurt them, but because you're teaching them that they no longer have instant access to you. The psychological impact of your silence. During those 24 hours, guess what happens? They'll start overthinking. They'll check if you're online. They'll wonder if you're talking to someone else. Your silence will shatter their ego more than any reply ever could. Why? Because silence is loud. And in this case, your silence is sending a message they cannot ignore. I'm not waiting for you anymore. I'm not chasing you anymore. I'm no longer someone you can control. This is a hard truth for them to swallow. As the philosopher Seneca once said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. In this case, choosing to wait, standing your ground, and prioritizing your peace over their curiosity is an act of strength. It's not easy to resist the urge to reply, especially when you've been waiting for this moment. But every minute you wait, every hour you hold back, you're reclaiming your power. You're showing them that you're no longer the person who jumps at their messages or prioritizes their needs over your own. And that, the realization that you've changed, is what will bother them the most. Flipping the power dynamic. Let's break this down logically. When you respond immediately, you give them exactly what they want. Validation. You show them their message still holds power over you, that you still care, that you were waiting. But when you don't reply right away, when you let them sit with their own thoughts, you flip the script, you make them wonder, you make them question their worth, and that is when the power shifts. When someone messages you after weeks or months of silence, they expect you to reply instantly. They assume you've been waiting for this moment. But when you don't give them that satisfaction, when you make them wait, you disrupt their expectations. Suddenly, they're the ones overthinking. Suddenly, they're wondering if they've lost you forever. Your silence is your power. The Stoics believed that true strength lies in mastering your impulses. They trained themselves to resist emotional reactions and act from a place of calm and logic. When you wait 24 hours before replying, you're practicing that same self-discipline. You're proving that you're no longer controlled by your emotions, that you refuse to let them dictate your actions. And that will make them start questioning everything. During those 24 hours, they'll keep checking their phone, wondering why you haven't responded. They'll analyze their own message, wondering if they made a mistake by reaching out. They'll even start to feel regret, because for the first time, they realize they no longer have the same power over you. And that is exactly what you want. Not because you're playing games, not because you're trying to be petty, but because you're reclaiming your power. They thought they could still control you? Teach them otherwise. Show them that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and they no longer have free access to them. As the Stoics say, the best revenge is to be unlike the one who caused you harm. And in this case, the best revenge is showing them that you've moved on, that you're no longer someone they can leave and return to without consequences. The final move, responding on your terms. So when that message pops up on your screen, don't reply immediately. Let them sit with their own thoughts. Let them feel the weight of your absence. And when or if you respond, do it on your terms, without urgency, without emotion. Because your silence, that's your real power. And now is the time to use it. 4. How to respond. When you finally decide to reply. When you decide to respond, don't let emotions take over. No long paragraphs, no explanations, no emotional outpouring. Just send one simple message. Hope you're doing well. Nothing more, nothing less. The fewer words you use, the more unsettling it will be for them. They expected you to write long messages, pour out your emotions, or even beg them to come back. But now you've become a version of yourself they never thought possible, the version that no longer explains, no longer pleads, and most importantly, has learned the power of silence. Your silence now speaks louder than any message you could send. Why this works. Think about it. When someone reaches out after a long period of silence, they expect a reaction. They expect you to be emotional, to ask why they disappeared, to demand answers, or to vent about the pain they caused you. But when you reply with a calm and simple, "Hope you're doing well," you give them the opposite of what they expected. You show them that you're no longer emotionally invested, that you no longer seek validation from them, and that you've moved on. And that is what makes them uncomfortable. When you respond briefly and neutrally, you don't give them anything to work with. You don't give them the emotional reaction they were hoping for, the satisfaction of knowing they can still affect you. You don't play their game, and you don't provide the emotional fuel they need to feel validated. You don't give them the comfort of knowing they still have power over you. Instead, you show them that you have moved on, that you are no longer someone they can manipulate. You show them that you are no longer waiting for them, and you are no longer playing by their rules. That is your power. Take it a step further. By responding with a neutral, simple message, you are protecting your own peace. You don't reopen old wounds, you don't stir up past emotions, and you don't give them another opportunity to hurt you. Instead, you keep the conversation on the surface, allowing you to maintain emotional boundaries. This is crucial because the moment you start pouring your heart out, explaining how they hurt you, you are giving them the power to dictate your emotions. But when you keep your response short and neutral, you keep the power in your own hands. Now, think about what happens after you send that simple message. They will likely respond quickly. They will try to keep the conversation going, pretending to care, but don't fall into the trap. Remember, their initial message wasn't about you. It was about them, about their ego, their curiosity, and their need for validation. If they truly missed you, if they truly regretted losing you, one message wouldn't be enough. They would show consistent effort. One text does not mean they want you back. One text does not erase the way they left you. Your silence is what made them reach out in the first place. Your power lies in how long you can make them wait. Don't let them control the conversation. Don't let them take charge. If they try to keep talking, respond briefly and neutrally. Don't give them the emotional reaction they're looking for. Don't let them think they still hold power over you. Instead, let them feel your absence. Let them feel the consequences of their own actions. Let them realize that they no longer have easy access to you. If they start asking questions like, "How have you been?" or "What have you been up to?" your answers should be vague. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them a detailed update on your life. You don't owe them anything. Instead, simply say, "I'm doing well, thanks. Just been busy." No further details, no unnecessary sharing. The less you say, the more they'll wonder. The less you give, the more they'll realize they've lost access to you. This isn't a game. This is about protecting your peace. This is about showing them that you've moved on, that you've changed, and that you are no longer someone they can control. You are teaching them that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and that they no longer have the privilege of receiving them. So, when you respond, keep it short, stay neutral, stay calm, and, most importantly, keep the power in your hands. 5. What happens next? When you respond with strength, here's what will happen. They'll reply quickly, try to keep the conversation going, and act as if they care. But don't be fooled. If they truly missed you, if they truly regretted losing you, they wouldn't stop at just one message. They would show you consistent effort, not just random check-ins. One message doesn't mean they want you back. One message doesn't erase the way they left you. Your silence is the reason they're reaching out now, Your power lies in how long you can make them wait. Let's break this down. When you reply with a short, neutral message like, "Hope you're doing well," you're not giving them the emotional reaction they were expecting. You're not giving them the satisfaction of knowing they still have power over you. Instead, you're showing them that you've moved on, that you're no longer waiting for them, and that you're no longer playing by their rules. And that's exactly what makes them uncomfortable. They'll reply quickly, trying to keep the conversation going, but here's the key. Their quick response isn't about you, it's about them. It's about their ego, their curiosity, and their need for validation. They're not reaching out because they miss you. They're reaching out because they miss the control they once had over you. And now, seeing that you're no longer giving them that power, they're trying to get it back. They're trying to maintain the conversation because they want to feel like they still have access to you, like they still matter to you. But don't be fooled. If they truly missed you, if they truly regretted losing you, they wouldn't stop at just a casual message. They wouldn't stop at small talk. They would show you through consistent effort. They would acknowledge their mistakes, express real remorse, and prove that they genuinely want to make things right. But that's not what's happening here. Instead, they're sending vague, meaningless texts, testing the waters to see if you'll let them back in. And if you do, that tells them they still have some level of control over you. What should you do next? Keep your responses short and neutral. Don't let them control the conversation. Don't give them the emotional reaction they're looking for. Don't let them think they still hold power over you. Instead, let them feel the weight of your absence. Let them realize that they no longer have access to you, the person they once thought they could control. If they start asking questions like, "How have you been?" or "What have you been up to?" just keep it vague. "I'm doing well, thanks. Just been busy." That's it. No details, no explanations, no unnecessary sharing. The less you say, the more they'll wonder. The less you give, the more they'll realize they've lost access to you. Don't let them think they can walk back into your life. Don't let them think they can erase the way they left you with casual conversation. Don't let them think they can slip back into your life without real effort. If they truly want you back, they need to prove it with real, consistent effort. They need to show that they've changed, that they're willing to do the work, and that they're ready to fight for you. But if all they can offer is a half-hearted text, let them watch you move on. Let them see that you are no longer someone they can control. This isn't a game. This is about protecting your peace. You're showing them that you've moved forward, that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and that they no longer get to benefit from them. So when they reply, stay neutral, stay calm, keep the power in your hands. Your silence is your strength. Your calmness is your power. If they truly miss you, they'll prove it. If they truly regret losing you, they'll fight for you. But if all they have to offer is a weak message, let them feel your absence. Because what you've built in silence, the person you've become, is someone they will never have access to again. Finally, I know you're tired of trying too hard, tired of always facing silence and uncertainty. But sometimes it's in those exact moments that we discover our true strength. Let me tell you this. You are no longer the person you used to be. They left you behind, expecting you to break, expecting you to chase them, expecting you to still be there when they decided to come back. But you didn't. And now they feel your absence more than ever. They took your presence for granted, but now they finally see its value. So don't let one message undo everything you've built in silence. If they truly miss you, they will prove it. If they truly regret losing you, they will fight for you. But if all they can offer is a weak, half-hearted text, let them watch you move forward. Let them realize that you are no longer someone they can control. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Because the version of you that you're building right now, the one that grew stronger in silence, is a version they will never have access to again. This isn't about playing games. This is about reclaiming your self-worth. It's about showing them that you have outgrown the version of yourself they thought they could manipulate. Your silence has already spoken volumes. It has shocked them, made them question everything. And now it's time for them to feel the consequences of their own actions. They thought they could leave and come back whenever they wanted. But you have changed. You have grown. And now they see that they no longer hold the power they once had over you. So when that message comes, don't let it shake you. Don't let it pull you back into old patterns. Remember, your silence is your power. Your calmness is your strength. And now is the time to use them. Respond in your own way. Keep it short and neutral. Don't give them the emotional reaction they're looking for. Don't let them think they still have control. Instead, let them feel your absence. If they truly miss you, if they truly regret losing you, they will prove it with real, consistent effort. They will show you they have changed. They will show you they are willing to make things right. They will show you they are willing to fight for you. But if all they can give you are vague, meaningless texts, let them watch you move on. Let them see that you are no longer someone they can walk away from and expect to come back to. Let them feel the real consequences of their choices right now. In summary, we've come to an important realization. When someone suddenly texts you after a long silence, it's not because they've just now realized your worth. They don't truly miss you. They miss the feeling of control they once had over you. When you stop chasing, when you stop giving them attention, your silence becomes a void that unsettles them. They don't return out of love. They return out of curiosity, out of ego, because they can't accept the idea of losing their influence over you. Not every message from an ex is a sign of regret or a desire to reconcile. Sometimes it's just a test to see if you're still within reach. But when you don't rush to respond, when you stay calm and reply neutrally, you reclaim your power. True strength isn't about holding on to someone, it's about being completely willing to let go. And most importantly, silence is not weakness. Silence is power. When you don't let emotions dictate your response, when you don't react impulsively, you force them to question themselves. They expected you to respond quickly, but when you don't, that's when they truly feel the loss, and that's when the power shifts. So the next time a message from the past appears, don't mistake it for love. Remember why they're really reaching out, and use your silence as a tool to protect your worth, because everything you've built in your silence, the strength, the growth, the new version of you, is something they will never have easy access to again. I control the conversation, not them. Let this be your truth. Let this be your power. No one can make you feel uncertain when you know you're standing strong on your own foundation. When you control the conversation, you don't just control the situation, you control yourself. You decide the direction. You decide the emotions. You create the deeper connection on your terms. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Subscribe to the channel for more insights on becoming the best version of yourself. Because everything you're building in silence, this stronger, wiser, more powerful version of you, is one they will never have access to again. See you in the next video.